Before Hercules became a symbol of strength, he became a man who could not bear his own reflection. We're used to seeing him as muscle and myth, but strip away the legend, and what remains is something far more uncomfortable. A man who lost control. A man who woke up to a silence that could never be undone. And here's what most retellings won't tell you. The 12 labors were not designed to make him famous. They were designed to keep him alive, not physically, psychologically, because when a human being breaks under guilt, they have two options: collapse or rebuild. And the rebuilding is never instant. It is structured. It is deliberate. It forces you to confront what you fear. And that is where the first labor begins. Not with a monster, but with terror. The Nemean Lion was said to be invincible. Weapons bounced off its skin. Nothing could pierce it. And Hercules had to do something unexpected. He stopped fighting the surface and faced it directly. No sword, no shield, just contact. And isn't that how real fear works? The more we try to attack it from a distance, the stronger it feels. But the moment we step close enough to feel its breath, something shifts. Maybe the first step in healing is not defeating the monster. Maybe it's refusing to run. Fear, once faced, does not disappear. It changes shape. And that is where the Hydra waited, a creature with many heads. Cut one, and two would grow in its place. At first glance, it sounds like a fantasy, but look closer. Have you ever tried to solve one problem, only to watch two more appear? You fix your career, your health suffers. You repair a relationship, your pride breaks. You silence one doubt, another whispers louder. The Hydra was not about strength, it was about strategy. Because Hercules learned something crucial in that swamp. Some battles cannot be won with repetition. You cannot keep swinging the same sword at a problem that multiplies. He had to stop reacting. He had to think. And sometimes healing begins not when we fight harder, but when we change how we fight. The fire he used to seal the wounds was not violence. It was adaptation. And once again, this was not about killing a monster. It was about learning that force alone does not solve complexity. But the third labor revealed something even subtler, the Cerberus hind, a golden deer, fast, untouchable, sacred. Unlike the others, it was not meant to be destroyed. It had to be captured, alive. And this is where the story shifts. Because not everything in life that challenges us is an enemy. Some things we chase are beautiful. Ambition, recognition, validation. The deer ran for a year, and Hercules followed, not in rage, but in persistence. Tell me, how much of your life has been spent chasing something that keeps running? And if you caught it, would it finally bring peace? Or would another golden shape appear on the horizon? The first 3 labors were not random, they were stages. Face your fear, understand your complexity, question what you chase, and only then does the journey begin to move inward. If the first 3 labors were about facing what stood in front of him, the next 3 were about what was rising inside him. The Erymanthian boar was not subtle. It did not hide in shadows. It charged, wild, violent, unpredictable. And Hercules was ordered not to kill it, but to capture it, alive. Think about that. Some forces in life cannot be destroyed. They must be contained. Anger is one of them. Anger feels powerful. It makes you feel awake, justified, right. But left unchecked, it tramples everything in its path. The boar wasn't the problem. Losing control was. And maybe strength is not proven by how hard you strike, but by what you refuse to unleash. Then came the birds of Stymphalus. They didn't attack with teeth. They attacked with noise, metal feathers, piercing cries, chaos from above. And suddenly, the battlefield was not physical. It was psychological. Because some threats don't wound your body. They invade your thoughts. Relentless criticism, echoes of failure, voices that say, "You are not enough." The birds circled, and if you've ever tried to silence your own mind, you know how exhausting that is. Hercules did not swing blindly. He disrupted the pattern. He forced them into visibility. Because healing the mind is not about pretending the noise isn't there. It's about changing your relationship to it. And then came the bull of Crete, massive, furious, untamed, not evil, just uncontrolled, raw power without direction. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Power without self-awareness destroys more than weakness ever could. The bull had to be restrained, not slaughtered, guided. And perhaps that is the most difficult labor so far. To recognize that the force inside you, your ambition, your drive, your intensity, can either build your life or burn it down. The second stage of his journey was not about monsters. It was about regulation. Learning that healing is not dramatic, it is disciplined. Learning that strength is not domination, it is control. And only after confronting fear, after understanding complexity, after questioning desire, after containing anger, after facing the noise in his mind, after restraining his own power, was Hercules ready to confront something deeper. Because what comes next is not about force, it is about responsibility. By now, the monsters were no longer surprises. They were mirrors. The mares of Diomedes were different. They were not wild by nature. They had been trained to feed on human flesh. Think about that. They were shaped into something destructive. And Hercules was asked to stop them, not just capture them. Stop the cycle. Some impulses are not born evil. They are conditioned. Resentment, addiction, the need to dominate. Feed them long enough, and they begin to feed on you. The mares devoured whatever was placed before them, and eventually, the man who controlled them was consumed by his own creation. There is a quiet warning in that labor. What you cultivate in secret will one day demand a body. So the question is not, do you have dark impulses? Everyone does. The question is, what are you feeding? Then came the filth. The Augean stables had not been cleaned for years. Years, not days, not weeks. Years of accumulation, rot, waste, neglect. And Hercules was told to clean it in a single day. Impossible, if he tried the obvious way. So he did something radical. He redirected a river. He didn't shovel the past. He changed the system. And maybe this is one of the most misunderstood labors, because sometimes what overwhelms us is not a single mistake. It is accumulation, unspoken apologies, unfinished grief, avoided conversations. We try to fix them one by one. But healing does not always happen through effort. Sometimes it happens through redirection, through courage to open the gates, to let something powerful wash through. And finally, the cattle of Geryon. This was not a creature in a cave. This was distance, travel, burden. Hercules had to journey to the edge of the known world to retrieve them. Responsibility rarely lives close to comfort. It asks you to go further than you planned, to endure more than you wanted, to carry what is heavy without applause. The third stage of his journey was not about control, it was about ownership. Owning the consequences, owning the past, owning the weight. And once you begin to own what you have done, something shifts. Not relief, not yet, but clarity. And clarity is heavier than ignorance. Because once you see clearly, you can no longer pretend you didn't, and the path ahead grows darker. Because the final stage is not about the world, it is about the self. By the time Hercules reached the final labors, he was no longer the same man who began. He had faced fear, he had learned control, he had carried responsibility, but the last lessons were quieter and more dangerous. The belt of Hippolyta should have been simple, no monster, no battle, just a request. At first, the queen agreed, willingly, but doubt spread, whispers, suspicion, fear of betrayal, and suddenly, a peaceful exchange turned into conflict, not because of violence, because of misunderstanding. How many battles in our lives begin like that? Not with hatred, but with assumption. Trust is fragile. Once broken, it demands force to repair. And Hercules learned something here. Not every fight is necessary, but once pride enters the room, peace often leaves. Then came the golden apples. They were not guarded by a beast alone. They were guarded by distance, by effort, by time. And there was a moment, a choice. He could let someone else carry the burden for him. He could take the shortcut, and for a second, he did. Because even the strongest among us are tempted by ease, by recognition, by the reward without the weight. But growth borrowed is never owned. And eventually, he took the sky back onto his own shoulders, because if you avoid the weight long enough, it returns heavier. And then, the final labor, no sunlight, no cheering, no audience, the descent into the underworld to face Cerberus, 3 heads, no weapons allowed. Let that sink in. Every labor before this had preparation, strategy, tools. This one had none. He could not kill it, he could not outsmart it. He could only endure it, up close, in the dark. And maybe that is the point. There comes a moment in every life when you stop fighting the world and start confronting yourself. Not your image, not your achievements, not your failures. You, the parts you hide, the parts you justify, the parts you avoid. Cerberus was not conquered with a blade. He was subdued with strength of will. And Hercules did something no one talks about. He brought the darkness to the surface. And then he let it go. He did not stay in the underworld. He did not build a home in guilt. He faced it and returned. The 12 labors were never about proving he was strong. They were about rebuilding a man who once lost control, not in one moment, but step by step. And maybe that is why this story still survives. Because we all fall. We all lose control in some way. And the real question is not, can you defeat the monster? It is, can you face it without becoming it? When people remember Hercules, they remember the strength, the battles, the monsters, the victories. But maybe that was never the point. Maybe the 12 labors were not a legend of power, but a map of what it takes to rebuild yourself after you've broken something you can't undo, step by step, not in one grand gesture, but in small, deliberate confrontations, fear, complexity, desire, anger, responsibility, and finally, yourself. That may be why this myth survived centuries. Not because we need heroes, but because we need hope that rebuilding is possible. So maybe the real question isn't, was Hercules strong? Maybe it's this: if your life demanded 12 labors, would you begin?